product of Beverly Nation. This is Know Your Rights, and I'm your host, Terra Strength, on air now from Lagos, Nigeria. Call in family 605-562-0444. Press pin number 7414519 £1 to listen, *2 to join the conversation. This is brought to you by Looking Glass Entertainment, and before I begin, I would like to thank Brother Oladeli and One Dynasty family for giving me the opportunity to share my story and my perspective. The topic for this evening is spirituality, a new perspective. What? We Create Our Illnesses, Part 2. Now, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and we're going to delve into it a little farther, try to get some more people to call in and share with us some of the illnesses that they're experiencing, and then we can look at what those things are telling them that they need to address emotionally. So let's get started here. So first, a couple of little poems, whatever you want to call them, some sayings. Worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes away today's peace. And another one, life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. So I wanted to read those because I wanted to transition into this whole coronavirus thing that's scaring the hell out of us. When we're watching it 24 hours on a TV set, we're watching businesses shut down. I heard recently a couple of the NBA games, they're talking about having, I think somebody asked LeBron James, would he play if there was no audience there? And he was like, no, I'm not going to play. They're talking about not having fans come to the games because of the fear. And I just want to say that I'm concerned. I mean, yes, obviously you have to warn people about what's being spread and the dangers of it. We know that it's killed, well over 2,000 people coming out of China. And I guess the question that we have to ask, that we talk about on this show, is about us creating our illnesses. And when you look at the anatomy of a virus, now I'm going to read very briefly what viruses mean and what they mean emotionally. Now, I want to say again, I am not telling anybody not to wear gloves and not to protect themselves with the hand sanitizers. You need to be careful, okay? You need to be careful. I know it's scary because it's all over the news 24 hours a day, creating more fear, lowering our vibrational frequencies. But there's another side to this. So again, I am not saying to anyone not to do these things and not to try to protect yourselves, but there are additional ways to protect yourself, okay? And the main way that you protect yourself is by raising your vibrational frequencies. All right. So if I'm talking to you metahumans, we need to be meditating like we've never meditated before. We need to be doing the types of activities in addition to the physical things that they tell us to wear and what to look out for and not to touch this and touch that. We need to make sure that we're doing those things to raise our vibrational frequencies. Okay, that's very, very important during this time, and not to give in to the fear. All right. So there's a lot going on here right now. We're in the middle of an election year, and we got all of that going on. We got different countries going through a lot of things. It looks like China is going through some major changes. There's a major shift or an obvious frustration with the people. They're one of the largest bodies of people on this planet right now. So it makes sense that the virus could come out of that, and whatever's going on as a group while they're transitioning, that obviously there's some frustration. So that's how we manifest these things. So very briefly, I want to read from the book about what viruses mean, and then we're going to tie in a little bit before we get into it about what the spiritual meaning of the coronavirus is. Since this is such a hot topic, I want to give us, this is the Terra Strength Show, and we talk about these types of things that can help us to see things from an expanded perspective. I mean, that's the purpose. Again, we are all creators, and we don't have to attract this virus. It's not something that we have to attract into our lives. Now, again, I'm not saying we go out here and just be ridiculous with this thing, but emotionally, family, we need to examine how we're feeling emotionally, and we need to step it up during this time. We need to do those things to help raise our vibrational frequencies. Okay, so we need to watch the attitudes right now. So now let's look at what does viruses mean when you catch a virus, and what's going on emotionally. All right, a virus is any of very simple submicroscopic parasites that consist essentially of a core of RNA or DNA surrounded by a protein coat, and often causes disease. Unable to replicate without a host cell, viruses are typically not considered living organisms. Emotional block. When a virus has caused a disease to develop in the body, it indicates a willingness to be invaded by a self-devised thought process that keeps you from being yourself. Allowing an invasion of this kind means that there must be a crack or an opening in your emotional or mental body. These cracks occur when bitterness or resentment have been allowed to fester. The virus has appeared to help you become aware of these unhealthy thoughts. Refer to the pertinent listings of the area of the body most obviously affected by the virus for corresponding metaphysical implications. Mental block. I want you to listen to this, family, because this is interesting. I suggest you communicate with the virus as if you were doing so with another person. Examine the process that continues to entertain the bitterness and resentment. Next, pretend that those thoughts are another person who is communicating with you and encouraging you to harbor your resentment. Now, explain that you no longer want to harbor a grudge, which is making you sick, and that you want to learn to forgive instead. Although forgiveness may seem impossible for you at the moment, at least you have good intentions, and once the sickness diminishes, you'll be able to forgive more easily. From now on, you have increased your awareness of the part you play in a viral invasion, and your body will no longer need to bring it to your attention by housing a virus. The virus then will no longer have a reason to become active. Refer to the steps to true forgiveness at the back of the book. So basically, when you talk about viruses, you're talking about forgiveness. A person is harboring resentment because they need to forgive. So when you talk about China and some of their cultural laws and their culture, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of resentment and frustration probably going on in that country right now. And this is why I'm saying there's a lot of transitioning going on that's causing the viruses to spread, to cause it to originate. You have a large body of people there. All right. So that's the genesis. That's the emotional reasons of why we attract viruses. We need to forgive, and we need not to harbor resentment. That's what it means. So now let's talk about what the coronavirus means a little bit, the spiritual meaning of the coronavirus. All right? And see what this means for us, how we can further have another way to protect ourselves. Okay? So just about everybody has had the flu in their lifetime, most likely more than once. It's something you all grew up with. It's like getting a cold, only worse. Rarely did you hear about anyone dying from the flu until recent years when the influenza strains got stronger and stronger. The core spiritual meaning of the coronavirus is to acknowledge the buildup of mass negativity and false belief systems. The most obvious proof that the mass negativity is affecting you is when you feel stress. As the stress builds up, it affects the body's immune system, making it susceptible to the flu virus. People play the influenza odds game when it comes to the flu. Although more and more people got flu shots last year, more people also got the flu. So it looks like it doesn't matter if you get the flu or a flu shot or not. Some people justify getting sick every flu season as something they should expect. They think it's normal to get a cold or a flu. However, this flu virus, the coronavirus, is different. It started in Wuhan, China, and grew like a tsunami. The incredible increase in flu cases and deaths is astonishing. It's like no other flu that we've ever experienced. It's an epidemic. And not having a vaccine for it for many months to come will radically restrict people's lifestyles. Now, this is how these viruses get our attention. The biggest change you will notice first is where you can go. It was a medical problem first, but it has quickly become a problem for the transportation and hospitality industries. The travel and tourism industries, along with hotels and restaurants, have been the early casualties. Events around the world are being canceled and cruise ships have come to a halt. In the coming months, you will see tourism in places that people love to go, like Vegas, Disneyland, and Disney World, all slow down. Going to sporting events will be like playing Russian roulette with your health. Any place where large amounts of people gather, like sporting events, sport bars, concerts, movie theaters, any large festival venues, nightclubs, malls, mass transportation of any kind will all be affected. People, family, we must get prepared for the changes in their daily life. Children won't be allowed to go near their grandparents and restricted from going to school. People in the affected industries will lose their jobs and the virus will still be here with the next strain coming. So once again, the spiritual meaning, the purpose of this fast-spreading virus is to examine all the areas where you hold mass negativity and false beliefs. And why do you have these beliefs? You want to ask. You must take a look at them, where they started, and why they are still a part of your life. Where is it that you must change negative attitudes and false beliefs you've based decisions on for decades? The symptom is the coronavirus. The cause resides in its spiritual meaning, what humanity needs to understand and get right. This one virus that will affect people's lives worldwide is a spiritual wake-up call. This influenza virus is a natural response, a spiritual warning about the negativity in the world. People will not like the forced change that these viruses bring. People will have to change the negative attitudes and beliefs in their lives to learn the lessons that these health challenges bring to light. A virus like the coronavirus gets unleashed upon the world when humanity can't be reached in any other way. This is a serious attempt to get our attention. So have things really gotten this bad? The answer is yes. So basically, this is a mass wake-up call for us. We again, it's something that we created, whether we created in a laboratory or in our bodies, it's all the same. You don't have to attract it. And so the way that you help not to attract it is by raising your vibrational frequencies. So if you've been meditating, if you've been doing your focusing on positive things, telling people you love them, checking on your thoughts, trying to have positive thoughts and things, all of these things need to be full effect right now. In addition to, the chemicals and the gloves and the masks that people are wearing and all these things. Try not to focus on the fear and focus on raising your vibrational frequencies. All right, and that's pretty much all I want to talk about the coronavirus today. I don't want to give it any more attention than it deserves, but it's a wake-up call for its family. All right, it's a mass wake-up call. Okay, we created it, and it will calm down after a while. Okay, so we need to focus on doing what we're here to do and raise our vibrational frequencies. That's what we need to do. I think I have a caller in the queue. Caller 1, who am I speaking with?
Hi, it's Jerry Petito. How are you?
How are you doing, Jersey Jewel?
I'm doing good. Yeah, hey, sweetie, I'm doing good.
That's great.
So I just wanted to touch base on what you're saying because I totally agree with everything you just said. I'm actually going on a cruise Thursday with my entire family.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you what my fears aren't the coronavirus, not even a little bit. My fears are all the bleach and cleaning stuff that they're going to be using on the cruise ship that's going to kill me, okay, because of the virus. So I'm bringing all my own natural things, even my own natural hand sanitizers. We've all got our own bags. My daughter made every single one of us, including my grandson's friends, all their stuff so that they don't squirt their stuff on us. We show them what we have, tell them we're allergic, and we have everything we need.
Okay, wow.
So,
That's awful brave.
Yep, and you're right. We created it, and it will pass. But I do want to touch base on something great you said.
Okay.
It is our mindset, and it is what we do to ourselves with everything in life.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and I've shared a little bit about my families. My mother's family were all very angry people. A lot of them were in and out of jail. They were, I'm going to use the word hate, some of them hated their own kids and their own parents. That's how bad it was, my mother's family. My father's family, just the opposite. Well, everyone in my mother's family died. Some of them didn't even make 40. Some didn't even make 60. I kid you not.
Wow.
My mother made 69. She harbored a lot of hatred and pain. My father's family, my father passed away at 84 2 years ago. His mom, my nonna, 100. My aunts and uncles, one of them just passed away at 88. My aunt's 91. I mean, see the difference?
Yes. Wow.
So you're right. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
And it's all about forgiveness and living life happier and seeing positive in most things, and it helps.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe as well. So great topic.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, and how courageous you are. You know how courageous you are for even
No,
honestly.
no, I don't see it that way.
No. Here's what I'm saying, Terry. You're absolutely correct, but I just admire the fact that you're living that life. You're living that life and being an example. You know.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're an inspiration to all of us. Keep it up and enjoy the cruise. Enjoy the cruise. We wait for you to get back.
Huh?
Talk about it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Okay. All right. I think I have another caller in the queue. Caller 2. Who am I speaking with? This is the Terry Strength Show.
Yeah, I'm caller number 2. That's in queue. How you doing tonight, sir?
How you doing? Is this Huni Bak Atun?
Yes, indeed. That's my tribal name. You pronounce it so perfectly. But yes, indeed, I'm also known as the Magic Man.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
I heard your shows before, many times before, but again, it's like if we were playing basketball, to me, you're like a pure shooter, to be honest.
Thank you.
Tonight's flow, your flow is really, really fluid tonight. The information is right on point as it always is. And I just wanted to take time to let you know, man, that the Magic Man Haru has so much profound respect and admiration for you and appreciation for you being here at OME. I definitely want to take time to do that. I'm being a little personal, but
thank you.
I had to take time to do that.
Thank you.
I
I
also want to say the information in which you are providing, yes, everything do start in the thought process.
Absolutely.
But we also got to be real. Not saying that, you aren't being real, but I'm just saying right now it's been imbalanced for such a long time now.
Right.
We got some real straight up devils that have incarnated that's living beings, not human beings, but living beings, meaning they're alive.
Absolutely.
Right? They don't have the soul in the sense where they can take responsibility and have that divine love for self and each other. That's a major difference between the two.
Absolutely.
And those of us who's human beings have really, really got to get a grip and stop allowing living beings to create, some of the most harsh things that you can imagine. We're talking about germ warfare here.
Right.
Okay? And I definitely want to take time to make sure that I let my voice be heard on that. The last thing I want to say to you, sir, is congratulations, Mr. Terrence Strength, on your O&E syndication station all-time connection record. This is your 15th all-time and your 14th consecutive. Man,
Thank
you're
you.
doing it up, man. You keep raising the bar. I mean, me and you are having a little friendly competition. We're going at it like two rock'em sock'em robots. But keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing.
Thank you, Magic Man, and you're right. You're right. This is germ warfare. There are a lot of dark elements and dark forces down here. And again, this is all the part. This is all a part of school. There are other ways that we can look at this, and these things make us stronger. Again, this is school. It's the obstacle course. So we manifest things, and we can manifest other things, by raising our vibrational frequencies. So we don't have to worry about the more we pursue spirituality and become conscious, we become more aware of what's going on and what it means for us and how to navigate it. This is why classes like this or topics like this are so important, because without understanding this thing, it's a very, very scary world. It's a very scary world. So I want to thank you for those comments, Magic Man, and you're absolutely right. And this is why we need to discuss these topics, and I'm sure you'll discuss some of these things on your show. So I want to thank you for that. All right. I want to thank Jerry Petito and Magic Man for those kind comments. All right. Also, get this started here. All right, so let's continue talking about what these illnesses mean. Again, please call in, family, 605-562-0444. Press pin number 7414519. Pound, £1 to listen, *2 to join the conversation. Call in, family. Call in with your illnesses. Let me read it on the air, and we can talk about what it means and find out what your body is telling you to deal with that maybe you're not dealing with, or you need to put some more effort into resolving. So please call in. That's what this show is for. This is what we're going to talk about in the coming weeks. Very, very important. All right. All right. So while we're waiting for some more callers to come in, I'm going to pull up one. I'm going to pull up. We already talked about viruses. Let's talk about arthritis. A lot of people suffer from arthritis. And I have a few that I want to talk about. So let's see what the body is telling us that arthritis means. Because a lot of us think that arthritis is not that serious. So let's talk about what that means. As soon as I can find it here. Okay. Arthritis, rheumatoid. So it's either rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis. All right. So let's see what rheumatoid. And again, please call in, family, while I'm looking for this.
All right, you do have a call on the line right now. I'd like to speak to you.
Oh, okay.
And we're bringing more right now as we're doing that.
Okay.
Caller number 4, you're right now with Terror Strength and Million Rights right here on it.
Hello, who am I
Yes,
speaking
hello,
with?
Mr. Strength. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's
this
great.
is Sharice Lee from the Sharice Lee Project. I just
Okay.
wanted to congratulate you on your show. You're doing a wonderful topic
Thank
that
you.
that I think everyone should hear. Also, I did a little bit of research on the coronavirus myself.
Okay.
And I read that olive leaf extract is a good supplement to take like a few times a day to keep your immune system up.
Okay.
And they used olive leaf extract for a bunch of other viruses or plagues that came out like during Desert Storm and things of that nature.
Okay.
So that's also a good supplement to take as well. But I think in a little bit this is going to fade away anyway, because the same as above, so below. You know that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just
I'm
trying.
sorry?
I said absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So Mercury, the planet Mercury, is in retrograde and is getting ready to go out of retrograde. So when that takes place, then things is probably, in my opinion will start to settle down.
Absolutely.
But that's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you.
Give a
Thank you.
comment.
And when is your show? When is your show?
It will be this coming Thursday at 9 p.m. and I'm gonna just do a continuation on making your safety plan while dealing with domestic violence.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Your show is great, and thank you for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So there you have it, family. There's another recipe to help us get through this. To help us get through this. There's all types of things going on out there. And when these viruses come out, they shift our thinking. They make us go inward because they restrict. We can't continue to avoid. We have to deal with what's going on underneath because they begin to restrict our lives. And all of a sudden we become, it kind of brings us into a state of gratitude, and now we're focused on, we just wanted to leave and think about some things. So that's why they appear. Once we calm down with that, then they will disappear. All right. So let's talk about rheumatoid arthritis. All right. So if a person has rheumatoid arthritis, physical block, unlike the more common osteoarthritis, is not the natural result of time and normal wear and tear or due to a buildup of calcification in the joint. Rather, it is an autoimmune disease in which your body's immune system attacks itself, causing painful joint inflammation and swelling even during sleep. The emotional block. The degree of seriousness is relative to the degree of emotional, mental, and spiritual blockage. Generally, if you suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, you are very self-critical. You have difficulty doing what you enjoy and asking others for help. Although you seem amenable enough, you let resentment build up while you wait for others to figure out telepathically what you need. You may even have thoughts of vengeance when others don't figure it out. Just as this disease is paralyzing physically, it also indicates emotional paralysis. Pay attention to the location of your symptoms. If the inflammation is in your hands, for example, you need to examine your attitude while working with your hands. Do you need help with the work you are doing? Then say so. Mental block. Why do you think it is so difficult for you to express your needs to others? Do you feel that you'll be viewed as selfish if you do what you enjoy? Is that really true? What is being selfish for you? Listen to your own body and learn to say no when you are asked to do something that you do not feel like doing. But if you decide to say yes, experience greater enjoyment of the things you are doing without criticizing yourself. Heaping responsibility on yourself simply to gain the recognition of others is okay if you accept the fact that you're doing it only for yourself and not because someone is forcing you. If you want and need recognition, acknowledge and accept this in yourself without judgment or criticism. That's what those of you who suffer from arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Caller 3 in the queue. Is there another caller? Hello?
Hi.
Hey, who am I speaking with?
This is Stephanie.
Oh, nice to hear from you, Stephanie. So how can I help you?
Well, I called because I had a coworker that I worked with for about 7 years. She was in her 60s, or early 60s, about 63 years old. I left our place of employment about a year ago, and I recently was told that my coworker passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
She died of an aneurysm. She
Okay.
actually had pulled over to the side of the road on her way home from work and called 911 because of the pain she was experiencing. A few days later, she passed away in the hospital with an aneurysm. I was wondering if you could read what that means.
Yes, I can. As a matter of fact, I can. I'm sorry to hear that about your friend. I take it that you and her had conversations, so I take it if I read this, maybe some of it will be familiar. You let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this is the physical block for an aneurysm. Okay? An aneurysm occurs when a weakened area in the wall of a blood vessel dilates to the point of ballooning. Blood rushing through this area of the vein or artery puts pressure on the aneurysm at the risk of rupturing it. If the aneurysm is in the throat, symptoms include cough or difficulty in swallowing. If it is abdominal, it may be accompanied by pain and digestive complaints. The area itself is generally palpable. A cerebral aneurysm is generally considered to be a consequence of late revealing congenital malformations. Emotional block. An aneurysm may occur after we have experienced great emotional trauma, generally concerning family. This prevents us from pursuing relationships as before. Those suffering from an aneurysm experience or want to experience a breaking apart of some form of relationship, even if it will break their heart. They may feel guilt about that decision, often unconsciously. They have let their feelings fester too long, and when they have reached their limit, they decide to break the relationship. Mental block. An aneurysm is an urgent message from your body to stop piling up internal pain. Make a decision now to talk about what you're going through with the people involved, rather than keeping it all bottled up inside of you. You may not want to expose your sensitivity, but you don't have much choice. Either you talk or you let it kill you. Let go of your stubbornness. It is driving you to make radical decisions that are not good for you. Your heart wants the opposite. Realize the emotional pain that overwhelms you is built of negative thoughts. Open up, express your pain, and regain the closeness and the love that you once enjoyed. Know in your heart that you deserve this. Now, Miss Stephanie, does this sound like anything with your friend?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unfortunately, when I was working with her, we spent a lot of time during our days together discussing the very thing you mentioned in it first, her family, and the difficulty that she was having and with her daughters and her husband, and acknowledging her dedication and her service to her family, and then receiving the respect and love that she felt she deserved as a result. Um, she was in a great deal of emotional pain, and she, continued to do what she did to assist her family, her grandchildren, her daughters. She has 6 daughters, by the way,
Wow.
and she was miserable, and she did it out of love. She did it because she enjoyed that service to her family, but she was in pain about it because they didn't appreciate her and they did not respect her,
Wow.
and she just suffered as almost as a martyr. And so we had a lot of conversations about it. She was clearly in a lot of emotional pain that she kept bottled up, except for our conversations. Yeah, she suffered in silence.
Wow. Wow. Well, now she's crossed over and she can continue working on this. And I'm sorry that she didn't get this information, before she passed. And my heart goes out to her and her family. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for giving the information that you're giving, Mr. Strauss. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for.
Going on in my life and the illness I have, not just the illness, but with other things, and starting to heal from that, and how much better it started to make my body feel.
Absolutely.
Because we think a lot of times we're stronger because we put on this past exterior appearance sometimes, just like that woman, had shared with her friend. She was going through all these different things. When I started to expose these things, and actually to a doctor just recently, they just kind of get a glazed over look, like this could be part of some of your problems. And, I just said, well, this is my normal. And he says, this is not normal.
Mm.
And you learn to get comfortable in a situation for so long of dealing with so many different things, whether it be your children, a
Absolutely.
spouse, a friend, just everything at once. You don't realize the impact internally it's having on you
Absolutely.
until you get out of that atmosphere for just a little bit and you start to begin to slowly talk about it, and the body will start to heal itself. I started to notice that just over the past couple of months.
Absolutely.
So thank you for talking about this subject tonight. It's a great topic and just so true.
Thank
And
you.
I love your show. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. And what time is your show, Andrea? Hello?
Oh, my show is, are you there?
Yep.
Hello?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Right here, Andrew. Just say your show, please.
The show is every other Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and it'll be this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. It's the Voice of Hope.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing those words. And she's absolutely right. I mean, family, this is how our spacesuits are designed. They are designed to make us aware of what we're not dealing with, because we are here to deal with some stuff. And so that's how we design your bodies are your best friends. And the purpose of spirituality is to help us to listen to our bodies and and understand how we're designed so that we can figure this thing out. That's why you've heard me talk about in past classes about regression therapy, calling it the cheat code. Being able to go back and see what you didn't figure out in your last lifetime and understanding what it means for you in this one. Very, very powerful to have that experience. We've had a couple of people listen to the show who've had that experience already. And so this is all in alignment with that. This is making you go inward to become more aware and in tune with your purpose being here. So it's very, very important. Okay, it's very, very important. So these illnesses that we create tell us what we aren't dealing with. It's so bad, family, that when I come down with anything or I get sick about anything, I run to this book first. I run to this book first. Your body's telling you to love yourself. I run to this book to see what I'm not dealing with. And these are practices. So meditation, other forms of spiritual practices can help you to get in touch with this and to avoid and to not create these illnesses. All right. Again, please call in 605-562-0444. Press pin number 7414519 #. £1 to listen, star 2 to join the conversation. Call in with your illnesses. Let us talk about it. Let me read to you what it means so that if it's you or a loved one, you can help them to move towards wholeness and to help deal with this thing. All right. I want to read depression because a lot of people suffer from depression. I think one of the shows last week, the Sheeza show, she was talking about men who suffer from depression. A lot of us suffer from depression. So let's see what depression means when we create depression in our lives and when we manifest it in our lives. Let's see what's going on with us from this book. All right. Depression, physical block. I refer here to clinical or chronic depression. For depression that is short-lived or the result of reaction to sad or difficult situation, I suggest you refer to the sections on anguish, anxiety, or agoraphobia. Common symptoms of depression include loss of interest and lack of pleasure in normal everyday activities, a feeling of hopelessness or despondency associated with exhaustion or loss of energy, loss of concentration, feelings of indifference, disinterest, discouragement, withdrawal, and preoccupation. The depressive becomes completely self-absorbed and feels no need for help from others. They feel others should change, not themselves. Serious depression can lead to suicidal thoughts. Depression is often misdiagnosed as burnout, so you can read Burnout to know the difference. Emotional block. If you are experiencing depression, realize that it is a state of mind to which you retreat in order to escape the feelings of pressure, especially emotional pressure. After many years of careful observation, I have determined that most depressive people carry unresolved issues with opposite sex parents. This explains why it is very common to blame their spouses for their depression. The resulting torment the spouse goes through was meant for the parent. By refusing to get help, you continue to feed the monstrous frame of mind a steady diet of bitterness and hatred that builds and increases the weight of the depression. This cloud of accumulated destructive thoughts and emotions become heavier and heavier. The depth of emotional wounding determines the depth of the depression. Wounds of rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, or injustice set the stage for a tremendous mental upheaval, especially if experienced in isolation. As young children, depressives had no one to talk to hear their questions, and to share their anguish. If they do not learn to trust others, they will continue to withdraw and deny their desires. Mental block. Since a depressive person doesn't want to be helped, it's usually the people close to them that want to help. If you are one of these people and have someone close to you who is depressive, I suggest you be quite firm with them. Tell them they are the only one capable of digging themselves out of the pit they dug for themselves, and thereafter stop trying to solve their problem. And here's a note to the depressive. Wow, it really goes on with this. Note to the depressive. The most important thing for you to realize is that the depression is a result of tremendous emotional wounding when young on the deepest level, the level of being. You refuse who you are. You reject yourself and believe you are unlovable and unworthy because of the profound rejection of someone you loved and trusted. We all need nurturing and need to trust someone completely. If those needs are violated through rejection or abandonment, we will naturally be bitter as we feel intensely alone and afraid. If you can understand that the parent or loved one that you feel rejected you was coming from their own pain and rejection, if you can learn to see them as fellow human beings and have compassion for them, you will have taken the first step towards your own recovery. It wasn't a lack of love that caused them to reject you. It was their own wounded inner child that made them unable to express their love. By connecting with the inner child of the person who hurt you, you will find that you are able to forgive them. The next important step is to get in touch with your own inner child and to forgive it for being angry and bitter. Love this child unconditionally to begin the healing process. The final step is to talk openly with the person who hurt you about what you have felt. Tell them how you have carried all this pain inside. Talk about the anger and the bitterness without judgment or accusation. Once you have expressed your feelings, reconnect with your own self-worth. If this is difficult for you, ask others close to you to show you your positive attributes. It may seem superficial at first, but you will slowly begin to feel validated. If you have been having suicidal thoughts, there is a part of you that wants to die in order to make room for a healthier, more vital part of you, your true self. You are confusing the part of you that wants to die with yourself. That's what creates depression. And there are a lot of us that have gone through depression. You have any comments about that, Brother O?
Actually, we have a comment with, now you're going to put me on the spot, man. I'll let you know when it's in go deep dive. You do have another call on the line right now.
All right.
Caller number 5, you're on the line right now.
Caller number 5, who am I speaking with?
And Harrison and Know Your Rights right here on me. He ready to jump the gun. Well, I love Harrison.
Good evening. This is Poetess April J. Armstrong. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I just wanted to call in, and I was listening to the conversation, and you were just reading about depression. And
Yes.
it took a long time for me to finally say that I've dealt with depression, suffered from it from a long time, even to the point that I finally allowed myself to go into therapy when I felt I had finally hit just rock bottom, like close to a possible nervous breakdown.
Absolutely.
And
Wow.
it's very real. But
Absolutely.
those around me thought I was just feeling sorry for myself.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, you showed great courage and great wisdom and insight to go into therapy and to deal with that, because a lot of us don't go get therapy. We don't go into therapy. We just carried it and carried it. We walk around with suicidal thoughts. It is an epidemic. You talk about the coronavirus, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's an epidemic,
Right.
and I want to applaud you.
Right,
I want to
right. And
applaud your courage.
mhm. Well, thank you. I appreciate it because it's. I actually just had an author that I was interviewing a moment ago. She's an intern host here on O&E, author Dean Miller.
Okay.
She came over and interviewed on my show, and we were discussing her autobiographical book, Color of My Tears,
Okay.
on your oral diction, and she just brought out a lot of emotion, a lot of what I needed to hear personally, to hear that stress that she dealt with and the depression that she went through, and connecting with her and how taboo mental health is in our community, even
Absolutely.
over sex. How we won't speak about it, how we want to sweep it under the rug. But it's so prevalent, it's so strong. For instance, my mother thought I was just feeling sorry for myself a lot of the time. And until she was diagnosed with cancer, and we started finally talking about it in her last few weeks, she was describing to me a lot of her feelings about the situation through this whole time that she was diagnosed. And I was sitting there telling her, you sound like you're depressed.
Right.
And she didn't understand it until she had to deal with it personally. And she didn't understand there was more than one form of depression. But everything she described to me was depression. And she was going through it herself. And in those last 3 weeks, it was just how to cope with it.
Right.
But it's so real. And especially like you were saying, in men, you're not taught to show all of that. That's just such an emotional thing to deal with. And normally it's very hard for a man to admit that, let alone for a woman, but still for a man. I've known a few who just, it's hard to come to grips with that, and they'd rather keep it bottled up than talk about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. You're right. We all know about people like that. And a lot of us have gone through it and everything. And it's just about being aware. I want to thank you for calling in. And when is your show?
My show is on Blog Talk on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for calling in, and good luck with your show. The show was outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you. So is yours. I appreciate you allowing me to come in and speak a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. And she's right.
You have a very, very special guest tonight calling into you, and she loves you very, very much. I ain't even gonna say, I think you already know who the caller is.
I do.
Caller, why don't you go ahead and speak and tell your brother how you feel about him?
Hello, who am I speaking with?
Hello, Karen.
Hey, who is
This
this?
is Sister Bessie.
Hey, Sister Bessie. How are you doing?
Hi, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes. Oh, I'm loving your show as usual.
Thank you.
And I gotta say something, right?
Of course. Be disappointed if you didn't.
But well, I want to say to your listeners, stay out of the fear mode. Because
if it's time for you to go, or any of us to leave this planet, you will leave this planet.
That's true.
And just keep your heart strong and love each other and support each other. The one thing I wanted to say is that do not underestimate the enemy. Do not underestimate this virus. Because a good example is Africa and the AIDS virus and how it was created.
Yep.
And the smallpox virus, which I found out the smallpox virus had 40 other viruses within that
Strain.
vaccine.
Wow.
So I just want to say to people out there, keep your heart to the Most High. No matter what goes on, keep your heart to the Most High. And please don't just let yourself be overtaken by fear. Because if it's time for me to go, I'm going. And I just want to say that to your listeners. Keep your heart together and love each other.
Absolutely.
And I love you, Brother Terrence.
I love you too,
For
Mr.
everything that you have said.
Thank you.
For everything that you have said.
Thank
and you
you.
know I had to come in and say my little piece.
You gotta come in. You gotta come in more often. Thank you for those powerful words.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
Thank you.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Can I say this real quick? Recently, a young lady that lost her friend. I was in the same situation as her.
Oh.
I lost a friend that was 78 years old, and I've known her for 6 years. I never seen anything like this where her family abused her, where when she left this earth, she was so heartbroken from the treatment of her family. And I want to say to people out there, stop treating your mothers, your fathers, your elderly people like they're nothing. They live for you. They work for you. Stop treating them and using them as a payment
Amen.
for you to have a decent life. Love your parents, please. Stop treating them bad. And that's all I have to say.
Powerful
All
words.
right, Brother Trent.
Powerful words from the ONE alumni, the great Sister Bessie. Thank you for calling in. Those are powerful words, and I hope they've resonated with everybody. She's absolutely right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Love you, brother.
Love you too. All right. That was powerful. That was powerful. Is there another caller after Sister Bessie, Brother O?
You better believe it right now. We'll bring that caller in, and they've been so patient tonight. Caller, come on here with, this wonderful program tonight. And, of course, this is Know Your Right. And it is Terrence Strength right here on these ONE stations.
Who am I speaking with?
Brother Mac. It's Brother Mac.
Brother Mac, how you doing?
I'm making it, man. Another excellent show.
Thank you.
I do have an illness I want to hear about.
Uh-oh.
But to piggyback on what the last caller said,
Okay.
How powerful fear is.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people really understand that fear is used against us by people who understand the power of it. And the general public may not see that it is used as a great motivator or a great handicap. And a lot of times it's used to push us around and make us think about things in a negative way to perpetuate more illness and imbalance. And, for us to kind of stay, unaware of how all these things just pop up.
So it's a tool. So
So
basically what you're saying is a tool for control.
absolutely, it's a tool for control. If you don't know, you end up lost, and you may transition out of this life, uh, dumbfounded by all the problems and things that seem to be impossible to deal with
Right.
because for a lack of knowledge, for a lack of understanding.
Okay, that's
But,
true.
the illness that I want to hear about was, do you have anything? I have a friend that's been suffering for a long time from lupus.
Lupus.
And she goes up and down, and I've always thought that it had an emotional component to it, but I never really knew the details behind it. What do you have on lupus?
I do have something on lupus. I'm going to read it to you right now, Brother Mac. And thank you for calling in, and thank you for sharing an illness with us so that we can help inform the audience. All right. So here's a physical block for lupus. Disseminated lupus is a serious inflammatory autoimmune disease primarily affecting women. It is known to damage the kidneys, skin, blood vessels, nervous system, and heart. Symptoms include joint pain, headaches, rashes, sleeplessness, anorexia, fever, and fatigue. Chronic lupus is tenacious and reoccurring, and characterized by red blotches on the skin that flake off and relocate around the face. Emotional block. Disseminated lupus indicates an underlying psychological self-destruction. You feel you have no purpose and would prefer to die, but have not made the decision to do so. Deep down, however, you want to live and have a good reason to, but find yourself easily and frequently overshadowed by others. You are easily dominated and tend not to stick up for yourself. And it says for chronic lupus, see skin disorders. Mental block. Interestingly, lupus is the Latin word for wolf. It is possible you picture yourself as a wolf. Do you tend to believe that you are too vicious toward others and hate yourself all the while? Such a self-destructive attitude has probably resulted from a difficult start in life, but it's never too late to change your perspective and realize that life is worth living. Look inside yourself and determine what would make your life worthwhile. Then make the decision to go after it. Take one step at a time in the direction that you want to, a direction of your dreams, and you will begin to feel renewed. You'll find the reason for living that you've been searching for. That's lupus. Does that make sense?
Wow, it does. It does. It sounds very familiar. She suffered from it for a long time, and of course the doctors don't really have a remedy for it. But when she's going through a good patch in her life, it doesn't flare up. But when she has a lot of stress or a lot of just duress, here it comes. And it from what she says, it's very painful and it's disruptive. I mean, she literally can't function. She can't even, a lot of times she can't even keep a job because she can't do anything.
Wow.
So I'm going to hopefully I get in touch with her and talk to her about what some of this might be coming from.
Yes, have a conversation with her and, kind of probe and explore with her what's going on emotionally and make her aware of how this is damaging her and making her life more complicated, and talk to her about things that she can do to reverse the situation, because she's having those corresponding emotional feelings that's manifesting that, and that's what she needs to work on. Our bodies are our friend. So I want to thank you for calling in and sharing that, Brother Mac. As always, great comments. Great comments. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. All right, family. Ngozi, I think it's Ngozi time now. This has been a fun show. Brother O?
Yeah, I bet, man. First of all, what more can I say to you? It hasn't already been said. Congratulations to you, Terry Strength, on your only syndicated station all-time connection record with your 15th all-time. Remember now, Terry's not even got his 1-year anniversary yet. And 14 consecutive. That is remarkable in itself, okay? only few here of this dynasty has ever done that. Okay, you know, we all know that Honey Bakasuna has done it. We all know that Gina Storm, Katie Storm, you know, the Poetry Hour there, they've done it. You know, we know that, you know, the great Jesus Powell has done it. And, you know, I'm so proud of you tonight. What more can I say that haven't already been said? Lupus. I know 3 people, guys, that went through physical abuse, sexual abuse, you know, in that situation. And it's funny that Tara said that, you know, in the beginning of your life, believing that you have no worth causes all types of diseases in your body.
Yep.
Only pledges to be their very best in our mission statement. What is that mission statement? It's to save lives. I don't need to go into more because Tara said it best. I'm just going to go ahead on and give you what you all need. And you know what's better than Geico Insurance? I'm going to tell you. That Deadly Nation is advertising through O&E, which is on the Deadly and Goes in Project, reaching of course at www.lookingglassentertainment@wordpress.com, as well as Ngozi Primetime One at Bevna.com. We're Ngozi Time both for Twitter and Instagram. Oladeli and Ngozi at Pinterest and Google+. Oladeli and Ngozi at Facebook, as well as our business page. Know Your Rights, as well as Deadly Nation Online Radio. Any comments, suggestions to our wonderful programming tonight? Oladeli.Ngozi@gmail.com. I am your mother and father's favorite producer, Oladeli Ngozi. Saying good night and good luck to all the folks out there in Armed Force Radio and support us on a constant basis. Terrence Trent, you had 2 minutes left to go in this program, and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much, Brother O. I just want to say, family, once again, that we're creators, okay? And your bodies are telling you to love yourself. Listen to your bodies. These illnesses mean something. The book, and we're gonna talk about on the next class again, Your Body is Telling You to Love Yourself by Liz Barbeau. It's a powerful, powerful book. Again, the purpose of the Terror Strength Show is to inform you of how this thing works so that you can make your life in this realm a lot easier, okay? Regression therapy, mediums, psychics, now understanding how your body works. These are all pointed towards giving you guidance while you're down here, family. This is real. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. Please, in 2 weeks, have your illnesses ready. We're going to go a little bit further, and I thank you for that. Tell someone this week that you love them. Tell someone every day you love them. And thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks, family.
Your line has been disconnected by the moderator. Goodbye.